Okay, so hi everyone, my name's PK and I've got Bennett Christian here with me today. Bennett signed up to the Property Investment Accelerator, I think, when was it?
October 21st.
October 21st, okay. October 2020, and he bought a property, very recently, and it was like, it's just a phenomenal deal. I'll go through some highlights, but the purpose of this video is really to give you guys some value, kind of, open the hood, understand what's inside the Property Investment Accelerator, but more importantly, understand what results are being achieved, not once, not twice, but literally 2 or 3 times a week by, smart, persistent, patient clients like Bennett. And I think patience and persistence is really the key word. It doesn't take hard work; it's just patience in this market. So Bennett got an amazing deal. He bought in Southeast Queensland, not the typical areas that you'd expect: Moreton Bay, Ipswich, or Logan. Not even Brisbane City Council. He bought in Southeast Queensland, near the Gold Coast. It's a property in the 500,000s, I should say, with 6% plus yield. Now, I was just saying to Bennett before I hit record that normally if you want 6% yield, you need to sacrifice growth. You need to go to Ipswich, you need to go to kind of the fringe areas where there's, millions of hectares to be developed and all that kind of thing. But this is a premium suburb. This suburb has gone up close to $100,000, or I should say $50,000 to $100,000 in the last 18 months. It is back to its sort of highs from about a year or 2 years ago, and now it's sort of poised. All the data is perfect for it to continue to go up. And I can tell you, Bennett got this property with a 5 in front of it. I challenge you to get a property in this suburb with a 5 in front of it. And I'm not going to share the suburb because Bennett's done a lot of hard work, but if you have any questions about anything we talk about today, you can leave them in the comments below and you can ask Bennett. If you PM him, you might get an answer. If you PM me, you won't get an answer, but there's no guarantees. But the idea of this call is really to tell you how we got this property at such a cheap price, under market value, how we got it off market, how we got it with a yield of 6.5%, or sorry, above 6%, which is literally like $5,000–6,000 in the bank after all is said and done. And how we went about doing this. I'm not going to hog the stage. I just want to welcome you and congratulate you, Bennett, for a pretty good deal.
Yeah, thanks, PK. So yeah, I just wanted to give some background about myself. So yeah, I'm an IT professional. I'm quite new here. This is the second year in Australia. So last year I bought one investment property with help of buyer's advocate. We were quite happy with the purchase, and we were so comfortable as well. After 6 months, I used to watch PK's videos on YouTube and some of the live sessions. Then we decided to meet on strategy call in the October month of 2020. And I remember PK asked me one question that, are you comfortable buying another investment property by your own self? So it was a moment of truth for me that I was not confident enough, or neither I have the knowledge. So then PK introduced me with the course. Then he also shared some of the realities that it's not an overnight journey. It's not overnight education where you will get it soon. You need to really work hard, and most importantly, you need to implement the knowledge into the real market. So yeah, I was well prepared and I had enough motivation, so I decided to join the course, and then we had access to all the tools like budgeting tools, valuation tools, and along with the course. So we started with the basics about the real estate market, because I didn't have any prior knowledge about the investments or real estate market in Australia. So we started a bit slow, but then when we went into the suburb selection with the use of raw data, it was really life-changing experience for me because I never saw such detailed data. So during the course, I learned how to read the data, how to analyze them, and use them. Uh, Along with that, we also learned how to set up the right team. So we started with the mortgage broker selection and working on the calculation of the borrowing capacity. So parallelly with the suburb selection learning, I worked with the mortgage broker to identify my borrowing capacity and the limit. So team building was parallel with the learning. So it continued for several weeks, and then I was very clear where I want to invest because I knew my capacity. I was very clear about the requirements, what kind of risk appetite I had. I learned about the suburb selection, uh, to find out the specific pockets about the area, what all parameters I need to focus on. And then during the negotiation process, for me, it was the most important thing which I learned throughout the course, because negotiating with any of the deal or any of the vendor, it's really important journey. It's not a uh, one stage activity where you negotiate and then come back. It's kind of journey. So I learned all the legal aspects, psychological aspects as well, how to break the wall, because you are not going to talk to vendor directly. And during that learning, as I said, like we also worked on the team building. So I was continuously in touch with sales agents, was building my relationship with them. And I also got one really good high performing property manager in the area where I was looking for property. And she was really happy to help me without charging me anything for inspections. So that was really great help from the property manager. And then I
Can
realized,
we just sorry to cut you off, Bennett. Can we just like deep dive on that just for a sec with your permission? And the reason for that is, like, so many people that are in Sydney right now or in Melbourne right now, they think that, look, I want to buy in Perth, Adelaide, Brisbane, somewhere else. But they don't understand that you don't actually need to catch a flight to inspect the properties or to manage the properties. People naturally think that because I'm in Sydney, but I want to buy interstate and I have no idea how to do so, that I need to engage a buyer's agent. You have engaged a buyer's agent before, so you know that bit, and now you did it yourself. Could you just tell, like,
yeah,
what's your experience of buying interstate?
this aspect of like seeing the property and go physically and watch the property. So I discussed this point with some of my friends and relatives. Like they are not quite comfortable doing virtually. So there are two aspects of it. Whenever I had this discussion, I said, like, we are not expert in the property or specific area, what kind of tenants need. So just to give one example, like I live in Melbourne. We generally don't have swimming pools here in Melbourne, and if any of the property would have swimming pool, it's very difficult to get tenant in because they generally don't use it. If you go in other suburbs or other states like Queensland or South Australia, the need of the tenant would be different, and property manager is the best person to judge that from the tenant side, like in terms of number of bedrooms, how big should be the land, what would be the structure of the house. So that's why I put so much trust in property manager. And every time we had inspection, after the inspection, she used to call me and go through the property, like what are the red flags and all. So this information really helped me to identify if this property is good for me or not, in terms of the tenant's perspective.
Yeah. And so you didn't have to catch a flight even once to Queensland, no. And you feel 100% confident that the property exists, that it's a real property, that
Yeah.
That you relied on a property manager and you found a good one, and they didn't charge any money. So for people who are thinking that I want to buy interstate, I'd love not to use a buyer's agent, but I have to spend $10,000 or $15,000 because it's interstate. Like, Bennett just did it completely free of cost.
Yeah.
Right? Having
So the reason is that when I had my first call with property manager, when I was choosing the best high performing property manager, as part of the course we have some list of questionnaire based on the parameters we need to decide if the person is best for us. So during that conversation, I think she identified me as a professional buyer, a professional investor, and she knows that in future I'm going to provide her business opportunity, and that's what happened right now. So I just signed the agreement with her, and she is going to manage the property.
Amazing.
So,
amazing.
Yeah.
So she saw it as business development. You know, she's going to do a few inspections for you. If you buy the house, which you have, it's in fact your wallpaper behind
that's
you.
Background. Yeah.
That's the background. It's pretty fantastic property. Now she's got 15 years of business. You know, $1,000 a year, if not a little bit more. You know, it makes absolute sense. And just to go into your property a little bit, Bennett, because I notice that sometimes people find it difficult to believe, even though I post every week a client deal that's positive cash flow, still on almost every call, people ask me, PK, is it really possible to buy positive cash flow property? So look, the property behind you has a 6+% yield, which means after all expenses, every single expenses, even accounting for 2 weeks of vacancy, which there will not be, right? Because the vacancy rate is so low. Even accounting for $1,000, $2,000 of maintenance, which once again, there's unlikely to be given, you know, what the property is, it's still positive cash flow. So, I mean, tell us, what's interesting for me is that it's bank valued at 560. You got it for about 550, more than a 6% yield, you know, in a large city. You got it off market and under market. So how did you do that without using a buyer's agent?
You know, when I decided to select this area or suburb that I really want to buy this property here, so it's not an overnight thing. I was in the market since last 2 months, and for me it was really important to know all the recent solds, all the high performing sales agents. So I was continuously in touch with them, and so whenever I used to call them, I was very clear about my requirements. That I have my budget. I want this kind of house. I also have the pre-approval ready. And apart from providing my information, I was also getting some information. How's the market right now? So after talking to 2 or 3 sales agents, overall, I used to get the condition of overall market. So as I started before the Christmas time, we had very low on stock. Like we used to get very less properties on the market. So I waited for Christmas vacation to get over, and then I started again contacting them. So this is how it helped me to build the relationship. And then many of my friends, they asked me like, how did you find the off market deal? So I said it's not a rocket science. Even honestly, when I started this journey, I thought like it would be impossible for me. But I just followed the course and strategies which PK has suggested. So one day in the evening, I just got call from sales agent that there is one property and they have some family condition. Their situation is that they just want to sell this property as soon as possible. So before she suggested something, I told her that if you give me 1 or 2 days and I can get it before market, before you advertise, it would be good for both. And then she said that that's why I called you, because I don't want any time wasters and you look like professional investor.
Yeah.
So even after getting this opportunity, it was really important for me to act on the opportunity, because so I had to come up with proper offer, knowing the vendor's condition, and also come up with the proper offer value. So I worked on the strategy as soon as possible, and also I had call with PK. We discussed about the strategy, and then straight away went for offer. And like then next day we had the inspection, and I also got really positive feedback from property manager.
Yeah.
So on the same hour, I straight away went for offer, and then it got accepted.
To be honest, I was surprised when you texted me that night, that you got it, because you can't get a property in the 500s in the suburb. Like, it's gone up $50,000, $80,000 so quickly. This is going to be a $700,000 suburb. I mean, famous last words, but in a year's time, I would be unsurprised. You got it for around 550, off market, under market. And I think the thing to say is, like, the selling agent thought that you were a professional investor. Now,
Yeah.
you had not bought property before by yourself. You'd outsourced it to a buyer's agent. So this is actually your first time, but by the education, you came across that way because, you were walking the walk. It wasn't like a faking it kind of thing. You actually knew what you were doing, and you got it off market, in a market where it's even hard to buy on market. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Even I paid for 2 or 3 properties. So
yeah.
yeah.
So this is what's possible. I don't want to put you on the spot, and I haven't asked Bennett this question before, and I don't mean to sort of poo-poo anyone else, but how does this property right behind you compare to the one that you paid thousands of dollars to a buyer's agent for? Putting you on the spot.
The good thing about having one property before starting the course was that I had one comparable with me.
Yeah.
So every stage of learning, I used to compare with my previous experience, and I used to think like I could have done better. and when I got this property, which is way ahead of this property, and the money I spent on the first property and second property, the difference of amount I spent, which is just $8,000 or $10,000.
Yeah.
And if you compare with the location, it's completely different. The house and also the rent I'm getting from this property, the difference is really huge.
It's practically unheard of. $650 a week for a $550,000 property.
Almost double than my first property.
Right. Yeah, but let's not denigrate your first property. It's still in your portfolio, so we need to live with it. But I mean, that's what I'm trying to demonstrate, that it's not like you put in, it wasn't a full-time job. You weren't needing to be an expert on the ground, having a latte at the local cafe and knowing the kids that live in the area. You didn't need to be from that area.
Yeah.
You didn't need to hit the ground. It was all about data, science, and relationships. And these relationships you built within a month or two. It wasn't like 3 years of planning or anything like that. Every Monday, how long did you spend every Monday calling a few high performing
15
agents?
or 20 minutes. Yeah.
15, 20 minutes.
And just random messages.
Yeah, 15, 20 minutes, right? And so, I mean, kind of taking the Property Investment Accelerator side out of it, without kind of doing the sales thing, what is the single biggest learning that you got from this whole experience of actually buying a property that is generating passive income, that is under market, off market, giving you growth? What is the biggest learning that you can give for free to people watching this video on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, anywhere else?
It's been just three months when I started the course, and the biggest outcome for me is the personal growth and the confidence I have achieved throughout these 3 months, because I didn't know anything about the investment. Even the basic concept of LMI, LVR, what are the team members, I didn't know anything. And honestly, initially I thought that I won't be able to do it, but then I just continued. So the best word is the persistence.
Yes.
And following the system. Yeah, that's what I did.
Yes.
Yeah. So literally, there are some of the questionnaire from the course, which we need to call the different team members, like sales agent. So I was just following the questions straight away. Like literally, I was reading the questions
verbatim. Yeah.
from the template.
Yeah. No, that's really important. Patience, persistence, I think you said, and confidence.
Yeah.
Like the education is one thing, but you know what it, other than just the strategies, it's the confidence that you need to actually buy a high performing property.
Yeah.
That gets you a high performing property.
Because I still remember my first offer. I tried almost 3 or 4 houses before getting this. I remember in the course PK said like it would be emotional journey for you when you type in the offer, and I was feeling the pressure of writing the offer. But then I realized like more and more I do it, I would be more comfortable with that, and this is how I got this property.
Yeah, no, it's a fantastic property. I just posted another client deal on Sunday, saying that was the best client deal of 2021, but I think this one comes close. So congratulations. All the credit goes to you. I was just teaching you how to fish and helping you, but you are the one actually fishing. So last question, to the thousands of people, and this is a bit of a cheeky question, hundreds of people that are following me or thousands on Facebook, on YouTube, kind of thinking, this is another property spruiker. There's so many Facebook ads, sponsored ads I get about, like pay off your mortgage in 7 years or double your property or retire rich, all this kind of thing, that this PK thing is just another one of them. Like, what would you say to those people?
The good thing is that it's not a spoon feeding session, so you won't get the direct answer straight away. Even though you're part of the course, you are having regular catch-ups with PK, so he knows that just to give you hint and show the right path, then each person they have to work on their path. So that's the main difference. Like if someone is expecting to give everything on the plate ready-made, it's not possible, and it's not good for growth as well.
Yeah.
By doing this, no one can be independent and ready or having this confidence. So like I almost had catch-ups every 2 weeks or 3 weeks with PK, and whenever I was stuck, he just showed me the right path, and then I continued working on that.
Yeah, and it's a long-term relationship, so I'm looking forward to when you're ready to buy again. I think that might be pretty soon, according to what the broker said. So yeah, we'll see in 3 months. You can most likely pull out some equity out of this one, and I'm excited to see the next one. We'll do another interview with a different background.
Yeah. This is just a beginning. Yeah.
This is just the beginning. No, hats off to you, and it's an exciting journey. I remember being in your shoes when I was at the start of my portfolio. It's very exciting, but we can't drop the ball, so to speak. Yeah. Every property needs to be high performing. Otherwise, we're just not going to get to that 6-figure passive income.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, once again, I just wanted to thank you for doing my course. It's always an honor to help people exactly like you, and putting your confidence in me and trust in me. I know trust is really the only currency that business owners have, and I'm so glad to see your result.
Yeah, and thank you very much for becoming my mentor, because I feel like I'm lucky I met you. Otherwise, I used to be the same person without any knowledge. But yeah, thank you very much for everything.
Yeah, no, right back at you, and thank you for listening to this video. Whoever you are on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, anywhere else. Once again, like I said, if you want to just sort of unlayer or peel the banana and get to the nitty-gritty of how Bennett actually achieved this, then you're more than welcome to comment below. I'll certainly answer your comments, and if you got some value out of this, give it a like or love, and then the Facebook algorithm, the YouTube algorithm will allow other people to see it. So many people need to see videos like this of authentic people. I'm not the only authentic person in real estate, but there's a lot of others out there as well. So real estate can do wonders for you and your family. You need to do it properly. So hit subscribe, and thanks for watching. Take it easy.